Hey everybody, welcome to Prairie Talk with good old Blades and Mayo here. I'm Craig Mayo
And I'm Shane Blades.
And when we taped this episode you're going to see today, it was like too hot for TV almost. So
it was, to our Prairie Talk viewers out there, if there's any kids watching right now, parents, we recommend that you may put them in the room, get them out of the TV screen, because it's going to get a little bit tense.
Yes, it will. So stay tuned and
enjoy the show.
Everybody, welcome to Prairie Talk with Blades and Mayo. I'm Craig Mayo.
And I am Shane Blades.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget our email address, prairietalktv@aol.com.
I sort through the emails every night, every day. I mean, what you guys are sending to me, it just brings a tear to my eye. Thoughts about the show, how we can make it better, how we can't make it worse. You know what I mean? It's just great.
And you know who we have on our show today is a lovely couple that we met actually in a cafe. And we were talking about Little House on the Prairie at our own table, and all of a sudden they came over to us, and they're like, we know about Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, a whole big discussion got started, and there was a little bonding moment.
Yeah, and we were like, with all this Little House talk, and we're like, wow, you guys got to come on the show, I said to them.
And by golly, what, 48 hours later? They're here.
Yeah. So please, everybody, welcome to our Little House on the Prairie Talk show. Boyd Peterson, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And Sharon Matthews.
That's right. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. A little germ thing there, huh?
Yeah. Well, you were telling us last night about how you guys met, and it just was such a wonderful story. I wanted you to share it with our viewers.
Oh, thank you.
It's much like how we met you over Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we're grad students at UCLA, and I'm doing my senior thesis on Little House on the Prairie.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we were in the student union.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the couch, and Little House was on. And I look over, and there's Sharon.
And I'm sitting on the couch watching Little House too.
Was it only you two in the room watching, and everybody else is doing their own thing?
Well, there were other people, but it seemed like it was
it was just destiny.
That connection, huh?
Yeah.
Laura
really
Ingalls and Almanzo connection.
Yeah, it was just like that.
Except, you know, we're the same age.
Yeah. We're much closer in age than Laura and Almanzo were.
Yeah. Sure. Well, that's great.
Because that would have been tough, you two being, if you were different. I mean, Laura went through some hard times there when she was a little Bucky's, and now Almanzo's like, an old man.
He was almost like 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, what?
What?
Huh?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big difference, but I'm glad you two had met, and
So were we.
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course.
so I just was thinking, it was like, my favorite part of Little House, I mean, one of my favorite episodes was Albert and the Indians, and I was wondering, you were telling me about how you guys were, knew all about the books, and I just was wondering if you knew any part.
You have read the books, right?
Well,
yeah. We've read them. We've from front to cover, sure. But, we were hoping maybe, because we both liked the Indian episode, maybe.
Yeah.
You see, we have some problems with the Little House on the Prairie
It
series.
is not exactly faithful to the writing of Laura Ingalls
As a matter of
Wilder.
fact, it's not accurate whatsoever.
Not whatsoever.
What are you talking
Bits
about?
and pieces. There was no Albert.
What are you talking?
There was no Albert.
Albert never existed.
That is a creation of television.
You've seen the TV show. Albert is on the TV
course.
show.
He was on for like seasons.
But in the books, he never existed.
He never existed. They never adopted anyone.
Well, then how did Mary's kid die if Albert...
You see, in order to have a child, Mary would have had to have gotten married, which never happened.
No, Mary, after going to the blind school, came home and lived with Mom and Pop.
There was no Adam.
No, she married Adam, who was also blind.
No.
There was no Adam.
There was no Adam.
There was an Adam because he was on the show.
Do you want to read the book? I mean, I know you already have, but
Yeah.
maybe we can start over.
Yeah, why don't you show us where Adam's in the book and Albert?
I can't show you because there is no Albert and there is no Adam. As a matter of fact, there's no James, Cassandra, Nancy, Hester
Never
Sue.
happened.
Well,
Never
well-
happened.
Well, Nancy, you know, thank God there's no Nancy in the book so either, because I never really liked her either, but the
Wait a minute,
others?
Craig. What, do you hear what they're saying? These characters weren't. They're saying they weren't in the show.
You know, it's. I mean,
No, we're saying they were in the show,
They
but
were in
we're
the show.
saying that it was a bastardization of the books.
The books are about the show.
No, the show.
Share what's going on here is we discussed this as kids. It's a little heartbreaking
Yes.
when you realize that there was no Albert because the bond that he and Pa had was really strong, and he and Laura became close. But
No, I understand, but,
It didn't hap-
I think these young men need to know that this was fictional.
I know, but they're going through it for the first time as adults, which is a little unexcusable because they should have read the books in school.
Hey, don't bad talk us on our own show here.
You know, well,
we're-
it's probably their parents' fault. Their parents
Hey,
should
we've
have
seen-
educated them.
They probably never
Accordingly.
set foot inside a library.
That's
I'm sure.
probably
I mean,
what
to
happened.
host a show called Prairie Talk, and to
Hey!
they probably
what-
think that they really lived on,
Hey,
Walnut
we've
Grove.
seen every
Yeah.
episode. We've seen every episode. We know everything about it. And I know I've seen Albert. He was downstairs smoking the pipe with his buddy, and lit the old blind school on fire.
Well,
right down.
they had to. They had to kill off that baby, and they had to kill off Grace because
'Cause
there
it
were no
didn't
such
exist.
people.
Yeah.
What do you mean they did? You know what? You guys come on our show and you start laughing at what we do. What do you guys do to promote Little House? You know Little House is the most wholesome show on TV. I don't see either one of you out there, trying to get it out to the public and try to make LA a safer place to live.
We're trying to make sure that the public knows that the Little House television series, as nice as it was, has nothing to do with the books.
That is a real service
That-
to inform people with the truth.
That's right, that these children should get out there and instead of sitting in front of the television watching these actors play these parts on television, they should be reading the book.
Actors, Melissa Gilbert was Laura Ingalls. Don't even give me that. They lived it.
Pa was Pa.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay.
Should we even discuss that?
I think we should talk about
think-
Pa in and of itself.
Yes,
The way Pa is described in the book
he
Yeah.
was
is
really
much more like Victor
Mr.
French,
Edwards.
the way that Mr. Edwards was cast in the show.
the TV Mr. Edwards.
Yeah, the
not
TV Mr. Edwards.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
In the books, Mr. Edwards is very thin, lanky, looks a lot more like Michael
We have a
Landon.
photo. I'm sure they've never read this book.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read that. It's just
yeah.
been a while.
Yeah, Laura, you can get some facts in this one.
Yeah, just
Everyone-
if you just show it right into
Yes,
that camera,
thank
you
you.
can just pop it right out there.
Yeah, show them what Pa really looked like.
Pa had long dark hair.
This was Pa.
That was
And that's Caroline, right there.
It's not Paul.
That's Pa.
That's Pa.
This is the truth, people. Do not be afraid of the truth. Little House is a warm, wonderful experience.
What's that? Did you guys
Please know
paint
the
that
truth.
little beard on right there?
No, that the beard is prominently spoken about in
Yeah,
the books.
as a
which-
matter of fact, just
Please
cover here, Pa,
yeah,
Pa,
this
beard.
is more realistic,
Oh, okay.
as drawn by Garth Williams.
Wow.
Well-
really had an appreciation for the Ingalls family.
All right, go on with what you will, but maybe Paul shaved on TV. I mean, people do shave and not grow beards every once in a while, so don't give me this
Yeah.
garbage that wouldn't be Paul just because he has a freaking beard. Capiche?
People of their class and status did not. Anyway.
It would not have been prudent to be shaving every day.
It wasn't necessary.
Why wasn't it necessary? What if they wanted
They
to?
were a little busy, trying to survive, moving a lot, which
Yes.
the series
Of-
never discussed.
Of course, yeah, that's another major problem with the series.
What should the real title of the show have been, darling?
Well, it should
Little
have been.
House on the Prairie. That's a
House on the
beautiful
Prairie,
title.
or Walnut
Let's
Grove
get
or something.
the real one. Another issue is that the books are not in order.
What are you talking
what do you
about?
mean?
You took them out of order. There is
Oh,
a
yes.
extreme order that the books need to be in. This is what everyone thinks the series is right here.
Yes.
Because they
Well,
took it
here-
out of order.
Little House on the Prairie.
Because it's Little House on the Prairie,
But
yeah.
When you see the
where is the Little House on the Prairie?
Oklahoma.
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 Oh, this is a hoax.
Oh.
You guys are, what are you guys, actors?
Where is Walnut Grove? Walnut Grove is on the banks of Plum Creek.
And that is, my friends, what the series should have been called, On the Banks of Plum Creek.
That just doesn't have a ring though, like Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
On the banks of Plum Creek.
That thing wouldn't even made it a season with that stupid
well,
name.
On
it
the
really
TV
should have
show-
been only a season because they only spent very little time on the banks of Plum Creek.
Well, yeah,
Walnut,
on the-
Walnut Grove was actually not the place they lived most of their life.
Very short period of time. They
It was
actually-
8 years or something that was a season,
No.
and at their house there was no creek there. They had a little river or something, but it was no big creek.
I'm sorry, Craig. They settled for most of their life in the Dakota Territory, which is now known as South Dakota.
Yes, it's now South Dakota. DeSmet, South Dakota.
Exactly. That's where they went to school. That's where there was.
That's where she and Almanzo met. That's where she and Almanzo got married.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's where Rose was born,
Yes, that's right.
and their poor little son that died.
Is this documented?
You know,
Yes, of course it's documented.
Here and in Mrs. Wilder's beautiful books.
I don't know. I read these books. We're part of Prairie Talk, so obviously we know a lot about Little House. And I know when I read those books, I didn't say a damn thing about no South Dakota or anything like that.
I don't know how to respond to this.
well, okay. Hey, maybe Laura. How about in the Plum Creek, Laura? That's where she found the fool's gold. Or
Shall we even talk about all the gold episodes?
or her and Nellie got caught in the river. And
they-
went down the river.
This is hard for me.
I know.
This is hard for us too. What it was? Oh, poor you.
They never were a part of the gold rush.
No.
They were
What?
never a part of the gold rush.
You shut up.
They never found fool's gold, and they never
Oh, you're
In
saying
fact-
they never headed west to?
they never headed west
never
to
headed west.
pan for gold.
Oh, they did. So they just wanted to stay poor then.
Yeah.
They were farmers.
Mrs. Ingalls never started a school. They never met an Italian guy down the river.
Mrs. Ingalls was never a waitress in the town restaurant either.
Well, they did have that when. Well, what about when the big corporation came through town and she was a waitress there? You know, she didn't really like it, but they kind of just did it.
No.
You know the movie William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet with Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio?
I've heard of that.
Cher has a nice theory about that. As a movie, she likes it.
Yeah.
But as the story of William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet,
It sucks.
it sucks.
Yeah.
So that is sort of a way to look at as a story. The series Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yes, very good.
It's a lovely series,
Yes.
even though it kept getting fluffier and fluffier and fluffier.
Yeah, like your outfit.
It's right
Okay,
there.
that was just mean.
Well, come on. You don't come on our show and start downgrading Little House on the Prairie.
So,
We're
but
not
the-
downgrading Little House on the Prairie as Boyd is
gonna
trying to explain.
You're trying to set us straight.
No,
Exactly.
He's trying to explain that Little House was a nice series for what it was, but it was not Little House on the Prairie.
No.
It had nothing to do with Laura Ingalls Wilder.
This is just
Exactly.
a typical like, oh, the books were better kind of thing. You know,
the books always are better.
You come in here in your
always better.
sophisticated clothes and your glasses and you think, ooh, reading, I'm smarter than you guys because I don't watch television, I just read. Let me tell you something. our
Obviously,
kids-
we watch television because that is how we met. We have a fondness for the show and appreciation. We just feel that America needs to know the truth.
Yeah, like every Steven Seagal movie I've ever seen, everybody's always like, "Oh, the book was better." Yeah, the book was better. Yeah, right.
Greg. Steven's like, oh, is that too good for you too? Huh?
Oh, is that?
Why don't you just go home and watch your Shakespeare in Love or something?
Yeah.
That was a mighty fine movie.
Yes, actually, if you'd like to
Absolutely.
discuss Shakespeare in Love,
Yeah.
we have many theories
I
about
don't think
Shakespeare
this
in
is
Love.
Shakespeare
There are
talk.
many
Yeah.
great historical references that
Yes,
were
yeah.
woven into the film.
Yes,
Hey, Boyd,
very
it's
good.
just Shakespeare in
John
Love
Weber.
talk. It's
I don't-
Prairie talk
That's
with Riggs
right.
and Mayo.
Let's get back to the you know some more fun that I love watching in Little House is all the tension between the Olsons and the Ingalls. You know.
That was good.
Do you
Yeah.
want to tell them
It's like
about
our
the
tension.
Olsons?
The truth about the
Yeah,
Olsen.
we should
It's
tell them
almost
the
like
truth
we're
about the Olsons.
it's almost like we're the Ingalls, Wilders, and you guys are like the Olsons. You know, it's just
Except
very,
we haven't lost our money.
oh,
Neither did the Olsons.
neither did the Olsons. That's right.
Actually,
Yes, when they on the banks of Plum Creek, the Olsons were rich and they did own the mercantile.
yes, they did. In Walnut Grove, they did.
Sure.
Yeah, the
Everybody
Ingalls
knows that.
left
Yeah.
Walnut Grove. They went to
They even
Smith,
had
South
Olsenville
Dakota.
there once. Remember that episode?
No, actually, they didn't.
That didn't happen.
But yeah, Harriet Olsen was not nearly as powerful as they make her out to be.
No,
in
she was not a
these-
nice woman.
No, not a
She
nice
was
woman.
never powerful in the show.
She was on the school board, which I guarantee never happened.
And
in
she
the
had the
real
most
House on
money in the
Prairie.
bank, and she threatened to withdraw her money from the bank.
That's right.
That's right.
But-
I remember that episode.
Yeah, but back to the truth.
Back to the truth.
The Olsons lost all their money when they moved to Smith, South Dakota, the same place the
What are you
Ingalls
talking
moved.
about? They were.
Nellie was poor.
They were.
They were poor.
You mean they were poor? First of all, they never moved to South Dakota. Second of all, they were never poor.
Sure.
Did anything on a television show ever happen then, according
Yeah,
to
Well,
No Laws?
actually, the very first season, a few of the episodes, such as when
They
Nellie
were-
was calling them country girls and teasing the girls, that was in the book.
It was very
Oh,
effective.
okay.
And the 2-hour movie premiere.
The movie premiere.
I saw that. See,
Yeah.
Now this is some good
part in
stuff we're
Indian
talking
territory.
about.
That was all true. That was all in the book.
That was actually Little House on the Prairie.
That was
Yeah.
Little House on the
Now
Prairie.
you're starting to make
Yeah.
some sense finally
Yeah.
for the first time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys seem in love almost.
Yeah.
God, it
Well,
just-
actually, we are very much.
We're
planning to get married.
are you? Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
well, yeah,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank
You're getting
you.
married. What's going on
Yeah,
here?
yeah. Well, actually, we're planning to get married in Mansfield, Missouri. Well, that's one of the choices.
Maybe.
Or
It might be-
DeSmit.
Or DeSmit. Maybe
Yeah.
Possibly it's going to be an authentic 1880s Prairie wedding.
Well, that sounds neat.
You might like
Nice.
this. We'll be married by a preacher who is a Reverend Alden lookalike.
No.
Because
Okay.
there really was a Reverend Alden.
Now we're
okay.
talking. Now we're
Was.
talking.
I know we're
Yeah.
going TV version, but you know.
Yeah.
This is more in the spirit of Little House here. This
Yeah.
is making me a little happy now.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you. Like we said, we do. We love the show. It's just
For what
it's-
it was.
For what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, for what it was.
And to our viewers out there, it's prairietalktv@aol.com. Let us know what you think. Are you on the Craig and Shane side, your co-hosts for the last, 50 episodes?
Or
are
the
you on
the Boyd Peterson and Sharon Matthews side.
Yeah, Boyd Peters don't know what he's talking about.
Peterson.
Yeah, that's why I said Boyd Peters. He don't know exactly. I think he's just a little bit confused every once in a while in what he's saying.
You know, I don't think that there has to be sides. I mean, I think that there is some sort of compromise we can come to here.
Well, let's hear that. You haven't tried to compromise with us since
No,
we've
I'm
been
saying
here.
I feel this hostility from you that, I
exactly.
don't think we have to be pitted against each other. I think there's a place for the show and I think there's a place for the books, but people need to understand that they're different.
We're not saying one is better than the other. We're just saying there's the truth. And America has a right to know the truth.
We don't want the
Okay.
children of America to believe that there really was an Albert, that there really was an Adam.
Or a Percival.
Or a
getting back on
Percival.
the Olsons.
Exactly,
All right,
or
well,
a
let's-
Percival, or a couple of twins that,
You're probably going to say there was no Johnny Johnston either.
there was no Johnny
Oh,
Johnston.
come on.
That was Laura's first crush.
Have you guys ever had fun in your life?
We have fun
We
all
have
the
a
time.
great deal of fun.
No Johnny Johnston, no
I
nothing,
mean,
huh?
we sit at home and we read these books to each other on a regular
Sometimes we read
basis.
passages aloud. There's quite a
Yeah.
lot of truth.
Oh, and I'll bet Charles was a good boy growing up because in the TV show he's a bad boy.
That was all fictionalized, actually. They never go into that in the books. They never talk about Charles and Caroline's young love affair, which I highly doubt was true.
They did mention once that Pa said when Caroline was, before they got married, that her waist was so small he could fit his
That's
hands
right.
around it.
That's right.
Because of the corset.
Which I
probably
very,
caused
very much
problems.
doubt that Karen Grassel's waist was that
Yeah,
big.
lovely woman. I'm
Yes,
sure.
yes.
or
wonderful
Harriet's
woman.
sister either.
That's true.
She had a big one.
Yeah, Harriet's- Come on, guys.
I think
Harriet's
you're
sister.
talking about Nell's sister.
Oh,
The one
no.
where the circus comes to town.
No, there's Nell's sister too, but
Oh,
Harriet's
okay.
sister
Was just as big.
in the See the Light episode when Adam gets his sight back. Harriet's sister at the subplot is coming back to town, so Harriet's trying to get skinny, but when she gets there, she's
And maybe you guys would have known that
I'm-
if you were up to par on the show.
That's
Apparently,
right.
I missed that episode, but perhaps we were reading.
Yeah, you were probably too busy reading the books, right?
Researching.
Yeah,
the
probably.
facts.
Yeah, researching the true facts.
There was Adam never got his sight back because
There was no Adam.
Adam.
It's that simple. I mean,
And a big pink elephant's flying out my ass right now. Let me tell you guys something. Adam was alive. He was there. He was blind as a bat. And I don't give a damn what you guys said. You're not going to
Should we
ruin the
read
show for
something
me.
from the book just so they can hear some truth?
Oh, perhaps we should. Or would you like
Oh.
to read that one, or would you like to read one of the ones in South Dakota?
I mean,
They were probably like a South Dakota.
Yeah, let's choose a South Dakota.
Whatever. I've read the
well,
books.
audience, while they're picking a book out, that's right. Don't get us wrong. We love the books.
would you like
I mean,
Little
they're
Town
kind
on
of
the
making us
Prairie?
look bad here today,
A
but
little
like
town on the prairie, which was actually
excuse
Oh,
me.
you could
we-
even just read the back of the book,
we-
and
we
it
were-
says where the little town was.
See how
long,
hard
hard
we
week
do
is
are?
over.
Just a bunch
See,
of
look
visual
at the
beasts.
Smith, South
They don't
Dakota.
even pay
came
attention to
outdoors
us.
and began to
Hey,
live again.
hey, we're
they
trying-
held church socials, dances,
Oh,
Hey, we're
boy.
trying to.
literaries.
Hey,
In the summer,
Hello.
Hey.
Laura took a grueling job
Oh, my God.
making skirts.
They're
through long,
disrespecting us,
hard
Craig.
hours.
come on.
She wanted the money
disrespecting us.
to help send
Hey,
men to
boy.
the college for the blind. See, she did go to the
Boy.
college
Boyd
for the
Peters, I'm
blind.
not going to take it much more.
Could you
understand?
please be quiet for a second? You choose a book quietly. We're going to address the audience here, and then we'll come back to you, okay? We're just trying to explain the love to the audience.
I really don't appreciate this hostility.
Okay.
I know.
So
better
as you
appreciate
think
it. I
some
didn't appreciate
people
paying
would
the
be
bill
open
last night.
to an open discussion,
I would
which I
think
thought
so.
this was
Yeah,
an
I-
open discussion.
I thought
All
so
right.
too.
Of people who like to exchange
You
ideas.
know,
I've had enough. Are you ready? Let's get to a segment we do to lighten things up a little
okay,
bit.
all right. Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
It's a little thing we call
Welcome, Melissa Gilbert. That's right, everybody. It's a beautiful time in our show when all our guests just look forward to it, and we almost don't even tell them because we just want to surprise them with the Welcome Melissa Gilbert segment.
Although I'm a little bit worried if she's even going to show up tonight because these people are basically saying that her character just wasn't the way she portrayed her on the show. So, whatever, we'll still try to get her to come out.
That's right. So, basically, we try to get Melissa Gilbert out here every episode. So
Okay.
We think she's here today, so why don't you guys show her a
Great,
bit
we'd
of
love to
respect?
talk
We
to
would
her.
love to.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would be willing to have an open, mature conversation.
Yes, because I think she's a lovely
we're
woman.
not
I
Sure.
think she read the book.
hey, it's Melissa Gilbert time.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
So-
sorry.
And everybody,
Have at it.
let's welcome Melissa Gilbert.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was going to come out. I didn't even want to say
You
it.
know, I don't even.
I knew she wasn't coming.
I don't think. Does she ever come?
I don't think.
I don't think she ever comes.
Does she ever? Really,
Has she ever showed
She
up?
hasn't come yet, but she's coming.
You know
okay?
why she didn't come today? Because of you two.
Yeah.
Have you
Just-
ever called her agent?
Yes, we did. We've called everybody, and she's always going to come. And I think she got here today, saw you two destroying the
Well,
show.
my daddy, he's friends with her aunt, so he could probably.
Well, I guess we should just move on with the show because she ain't coming today.
Well, she never comes because, remember, because we're not good enough. Remember?
especially today. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody, sorry. Maybe next week we'll get Melissa Gilbert
Next
on
week
the
she
show.
will be here once we get this hostility out of the room.
Well, I thought you were going to read some out of the book there.
We did, and they
Yeah,
weren't paying
you
attention.
guys wouldn't listen to us.
Well, we wordless. We were.
Of course. I'm sorry we
Oh,
had a show
look
to
at
run.
this. This is a reproduction of Laura's teaching certificate.
Okay.
Yes.
And she actually taught while she was still in high school.
Well, yeah. Well, she was still.
Oh
in
yeah,
school.
they carted her off to that school out in the middle of nowhere, and poor Almanzo had to drive out there. And
Which is relatively true.
oh really? See, now we're
yes,
talking.
yeah.
All
Almanzo
right.
would drive out every weekend and pick her up and bring her 13 miles back home.
And there was that school kid that they were like pretending to.
Well-
They weren't. They were just showing physics or something. And Almanzo came in and he like hit the kid, and then he felt so bad about it.
that,
you know?
that was a nice fictionalization for television, but there was actually no kid hitting on Laura. in
And
the
Thomas
school.
Edison never.
Yeah, well, and the James brothers never kidnapped Pa and Mary.
Well, at least we're making progress. You know,
Boy,
at
don't have
least-
a nice shirt on.
At least we're kind of getting a balance of like, okay, they did do something, but maybe it's not all true.
And that's all we're saying.
That's all we're
That's all
trying
we're
to
here.
say.
You know what, Craig, as I'm sitting here listening to these two talk, I'm thinking, I read the books, don't get me wrong, okay? But if the books are according to what you guys say they were, what did anybody do? Was there any characters in the show besides Ma, Pa, and Laura? And did they just sit there in their South Dakota little town and do nothing? Did anything happen in the books according to you guys?
The Olsons were there.
Of course, a number of things happened in the books. I mean, there was an entire book is dedicated to the long winter.
It was an awful winter.
The blizzard, yes, when they got stuck in the barn.
There's an episode about that. Duh.
Well,
The long winter was a little bit longer than that
it was
one.
an incredibly long winter. There were
People
many hardships.
began starving.
Well, they had also the episode when they got stuck in the cabin with the Indian guy, and the cavalry came and was hunting for the Indian, and Pa was like,
That
I mean,
that never happened. That Pa never saved
Yeah,
the
Craig,
Indian chief. And
nothing ever happened. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Plenty of things happened.
Yes, plenty.
Yeah.
And the problem is that television today feels the need, and in
Of
the
yesterday.
and of yesterday when Little House on the Prairie was made, that they feel the need to do these big, huge stories. Really,
Sensationalize.
exactly. That's the word I'm looking for, honey. That was a good word. To sensationalize. We really don't need this hostility.
Who says
There
it's
are
hostility? Maybe I was
issues,
just clapping.
we're
Yeah.
throwing you a little love.
These people had simple lives, and I think that's what the books are trying to celebrate. And here the television series tries to make their lives much, much more sensational than they
Sensational.
actually were.
Exactly.
Yeah, God forbid he try to get a rating or two in there, huh?
Life is not always about ratings. I'm sure the real occurrences of the Ingalls and Wilder's lives would have been very entertaining. It was
Exactly.
exciting enough to get the series.
I'm sure when Mrs. Wilder wrote the books, she was not concerned about how many books she would sell.
Share something just occurred to me. If their poor daughter Rose had not died
Oh.
before the series became a reality, I'm sure she would have been a producer on the show.
I think it's a blessing that Rose did not live to see this.
Those are harsh words, but I'm sure they're true.
Yeah, I mean,
Harsh words, that's not even
harsh.
the right word for it. They're terrible words.
They're
you would have
true
wanted
words.
Mrs. Rose Wilder Lane to have seen that.
The most
to
wholesome
us-
show on television? Yes,
Yes.
I would have.
To have seen
Yes.
what they did to her mother's life.
She would
She
have
loved her
learned.
mother.
Every episode was a great moral lesson of like, hey, wow, that.
And we're not saying that it wasn't. We're just
No.
saying that it had nothing to do with Laura Ingalls
Had
Wilder
nothing
most
to
of
do
the
with
time.
life.
You guys, I tell you what, I can't say it's been a pleasure having you guys on the show.
Well,
They just have absolutely no respect
Well,
for.
They're not.
I'm
open
only
to
gonna give 'em
discussion.
one plate.
All we wanted was.
I'm just gonna give them. I'm gonna just give them one plate.
Do you even want to give them a plate?
Well, we
They might be
should-
too good for it.
Well, they did come on and give knowledge to everybody and let them.
What knowledge?
Which is all we wanted to do.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
don't know what this hostility is from you guys. I mean, all we want to do is tell people the truth
Well, it's,
and let them make their own decisions.
yeah.
Not even that there's a decision. It's just you appreciate each for what it is,
Exactly.
and that's.
But you haven't been
that's all
doing
we-
that. You've been downgrading the television show the whole time and just going by little
Yeah.
books.
Can you just at least acknowledge that you enjoyed watching the
Oh,
television
we
show?
enjoyed the
Yes,
show
we enjoyed
very
the show.
much.
very
Oh,
much.
all right. So there you go.
Because you guys would have not have noticed each other if you guys were just reading books. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's true.
See.
Well, that gets into that whole conversation about fate and destiny.
That's true. We probably would have, run into each other reading
I'm
our books
sure.
either. Anyways,
But it was the
I know this
television
was meant to
show.
be.
Look at Boyd bring her right back. She actually started to realize something for a split second. That Boyd brings her right back to his own little pitiful reality.
What are they talking about?
I don't.
She has no idea. She don't even remember what happened. I'm not even going to repeat it. Give him the freaking plate.
Oh well, here you go. We only got. We'll give you one between the both of you. That's right.
Hopefully this plate's good enough for you guys.
That's right, everybody out there. It's a Doc Baker plate.
Is there a Doc
Look,
Baker?
honey, it says on the banks of Plum Creek.
It
just like it
does.
should.
Oh my God!
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
That is really, really beautiful.
You know what this is? This is a testament to the books
And the television show
and
together.
the television show together. On
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
the actor that played Doc Baker on the banks of Plum Creek.
I hope you cherish that because
we
that
really, we
we
really
will.
will.
We will.
because that's
That
a
is
special
beautiful.
plate we give
We could
to
have
all
our
our
wedding
guests.
cake on this.
Oh my God.
We'll have our wedding cake
We'll have
on
our
this.
Wow.
wedding cake.
Well, that's kind of
Nice.
nice of you guys, actually. Yeah, if you
Oh,
want.
thank
that's
you.
just- that warms my heart, honey.
Me too.
Wow.
That is beautiful.
Open discussion is a great thing.
It is. And communication and honesty is really lovely.
This is just like an episode too, where it was just full of tension the whole show, and now suddenly a happy ending.
That's what the show is good at.
Albert and Mary are dancing together again.
Yeah, even though Albert didn't exist.
Okay.
Hey, let's not get into that. Okay, let's just let it all go. You have
Okay.
your cake on the plate
Oh,
there,
that's beautiful.
and wow.
All right,
Okay, well let's close it down.
People, we hope you enjoyed this tension-filled show, to say the least. I'm
Yeah.
sorry if the kids couldn't watch this one. We understand.
Remember, Prairie Talk TV at AOL.com.
Let us know what you thought about this biggie.
Yes. Thank you again, Boyd and Sharon. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming in. That's-
Just yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for coming in. And thank you, everybody, for tuning into the good old Prairie Talk once again here. So I hope you enjoyed the show, and, what else do you got to say?
I only got one thing to say. I think you should start it.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. He's saying good times,